Hello, everyone. It took me a long time before I decided to make this video, but I felt like I need to let everyone know, everyone who knows me, that I am not doing good at all. I am not feeling good. And I had the opportunity to talk to a few friends, to a few people about it. But to the core, to my heart, I am enraged. I am saddened. I'm frustrated. I'm angry. I am angry to see that black men in the United States continue to die in the hand of police like that, like George Floyd just did. I'm angry to see people in Central Park saying, and I'm not gonna say any name, you'll watch the video, everything. There's an African American man who is threatening my life. I'm calling the police. Please, police, come and say something or do something to this African American life. He's threatening my life, even though there was no evidence of such threat. When I watched a video of George Floyd having his having the officer's knee on his neck and saying things like, "I can't breathe, please," and "Mama," I was enraged. I was sad. I was mad. Nobody should be dying like that. Nobody should be treating like that. No human being deserves to be treated like that. You know what it reminded me? When I watched a video of George Floyd, I grew up in Ivory Coast, and my neighbor back then was Muslim. The whole family was Muslim, and every year, as you probably know, they have the Ramadan. Where's the fasting? They fast for like a month, I believe, and then at the end of the fasting, they have all kind of celebrities. They all kind of foods they actually cook, and then they share the food with everyone. It's a very big event for all Muslims around the world, and I think we just had it. This video reminded me of how people used to kill the lamb that was usually sacrificed every year at the end of Ramadan. That's exactly the way people used to kill lamb, at least for what I remember back in Ivory Coast. No human being should be treated like that. This is not right. And I want to say this to all police officers in the world, in the United States and all over the world. To every single one of you, I want to say thank you. Thank you for your service. Thank you for putting your life on the line to serve and protect us. To all the armed force all over the world, in the United States, deployed all over the world, thank you for the service. Thank you for your service. I got some friends that are police officer. I got some friends that are in the armed force. And I want to say thank you. Now, I also want to say that if you see something like what's happening to George Floyd, don't just stand there. Do something. Please do something. Please say something. Nobody should be treated like that. In the case of George Floyd, there was 3 police officers, I believe, just standing there, not doing anything. That could have been prevented. That could have been prevented. If only one of them would have said, "Hey, you know what? I don't think what we're doing is right. We need to stop." It was people around that were saying, "You know what? You got to stop. You're killing him." That shouldn't be the case. If you're a police officer in the United States, it don't matter if you're black, white, Asian. It don't matter African, like me. It don't matter where you come from. If you see something like that, please do something. I'm begging you. See, when I watch a video, I immediately thought about my brother who is back in Chicago. I was like, oh man, that could have been him. That could have been him. I it, I thought about my two nephews. I have one nephew who is, I believe, 11, 12 years old now. And I have one nephew who is 7, 8 years old. Two black men growing up in this country. I was like, oh man, that could have been them. When I later learned that the reason why the police was called in the first place is because George Floyd handed a fake $20 bill. I was like, oh man, that could have been me. No, let's be serious. How many people can recognize a fake $20 bill or any fake dollar bill? And everyone agreed he probably didn't even know it was fake. If you're being given a fake dollar bill, dollar bill in your, in the past transaction, nobody takes some time to really check, what the money would be heading is right, it's fake or not. So he just used it. I was like, that could have been me. That could have been me. That could have been my brother back in Chicago. That could have been someone I care about. That could have been you. I've been in the United States for about 10 years now. My brother has been in the United States for about 30 years, and my whole family has been in the United States for about 30 years. And oftentimes we watch videos like that. I've seen things like that happen. And it's easy for people like me who are African, who immigrated to the United States, and now citizen, or who's just African, living in the United States, to say, "Oh, this is not my problem." It doesn't concern me. If you think like that, I think you're wrong. Because like I said, when I saw this video, I was like, "Oh man, that could have been me. That could have been my nephews. That could have been my big brother. That could have been someone I care about." I remember one time back in college in Michigan, I got pulled over by a police officer. And the very interesting thing was, like, the first question they asked me was, do you have a gun in your car or with you, whatever? And it was like, can I search your car? I didn't. Back then, I didn't tell him anything. And like I said, back then I had been in the United States for about only 5 years, so I didn't really know about the relationship between black people and the police. I didn't know anything like that. It was just 5 years. All I was doing was going to school, come back home, do my own thing. And I didn't tell the officer that, but I was thinking in my mind, hold on. Okay, you pulled me over. I don't know the reason. And the first question asked me is, do I have a gun in my car? Can you search my car? And actually, I told him, yeah, you can go ahead and search the car. I don't have anything to hide. And I don't have any gun. But again, the question is, okay, what made you think that I may be someone who has a gun on him? Is it because I'm black? Is it because I look like someone who might? Is it because I'm being stereotyped? And one thing that I realized as we're going through this interaction, eventually he asked me for my identification papers, and I remember I gave him my ID. So I had a Michigan plate because I bought my car in Michigan, but my ID was still from Illinois because I originally from Chicago. And I gave him my ID cards, my Illinois ID card, and I gave him my school card. And I realized that his interaction with me changed when first he realized that I was a student, and second, he realized that I had an accent. The interaction completely changed. It was being nicer to me. He ended up not searching the car. Nothing. And I was like, and he asked me, do you know why I pulled you over? This is the funniest thing. I said, no, I was like, no, officer, or why did you pull me over? And he was like, I pulled you over because you had I don't know if you guys know the hair freshener you can hang on the front of the mirror. It usually it has the shape of the cone. It's like air freshener. So I didn't know. Obviously, it was illegal to have the hair freshener hanging in your front windows like that. So he was like, that's why I pulled you over. So in my head, I was like, okay, I let it go. I let it go. I was like, okay, I'm not being charged, so I'm not. There's nothing going on. I'm just going my way. But back in my in my head, I was like, hold on. So if you pull me over for hair freshener, why is the first question you're asking me if I have a gun? What is the relationship? I don't get it. I don't get it. What is the relationship? I don't get it. Unfortunately, it happened to many, many, many black people throughout this country. And this particular situation could have gone a different way. What if I was resisting the police? What if I was like, okay, you know what? You're not searching my car because you have no, apparent reason to search my car. There's no indication from me or from my face or from my car that I might be carrying a gun illegally. No indication whatsoever. So I could have been like, oh, you're not doing that. And maybe I was going to be like George Floyd. I was going to be like Eric Gardner. And many, many other black people that were being shot in very doubtful circumstances. So I was like, it could have been me. And I felt like I had to do more. I felt like I had to do more than just voice my outrage. I never protested in my life. I think the only time I protested was, back in Ivory Coast, during the Civil War, where a lot of people, and just like me, were felt like the French government was overtaking our country, and that was the only time I protested. And me personally, I've never been violent. I've never been violent whatsoever. I remember that time some people were protesting violently. It wasn't me. No violence whatsoever. I was protesting peacefully, and that was the only time. And I've never done it again. I don't know how to protest. And I know some people are, voicing their rage many ways. And I feel like I don't know what to do. I just feel in my heart that I need to do more. And maybe I really don't know. So that's why I'm joining my voice to all the millions of people all over the world that are saying this needs to stop. This needs to stop. I want to be able to continue to enjoy the freedom that I was awarded by immigrating to the United States, and which I appreciate it. I want to continue to enjoy. I want my family, my brother, my nephew, to continue to enjoy a peaceful life, to continue to be treated like human, to continue not to be judged by the color of the skin. When this situation happened, one of the things that came to my mind, and I actually shared with a few people from my school, it was like, I was like, oh man, this is the exact same situation at Harry Gardner. I'm like, how come people did not learn for what happened to Harry Gardner and do better? This is the exact same circumstances. And that's why people are mad. That's why people are enraged. It's the same thing. How come we're not learning it? How come we're not learning as a society, we're not doing better? Knowing that things like that happened before, how come you're not doing better? I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't get it. And then I remember that, what really happened in Eric Garner case is nobody was really indicted. There was no justice. And a lot of people felt that there was no justice. And now I got reminded of Dr. Luther King's words. Injustice somewhere is a threat to justice everywhere. And this is why a lot of people want justice. And I really hope that the authorities are going to do what is right. I pray that from what happened to George Floyd, every single police officer in this country and all over the world are going to learn and do what is right. This is my prayer. This is my prayer. Something needs to change. And me personally, I don't know what to do. Like I say, I think as soon as I have the opportunity, I'm probably gonna donate to, whatever cause out there. But I felt like as a professional, as a black professional, I had to do something. I had to say something. I had to let all my people, all the people, all the white people who know me, who work with me, I had to let them know how I feel. I had to let everyone know how I feel. And I think I want to take it upon myself to do more. We ought to do more. As African, even living in the United States, we ought to do more. As African American, we ought to do more. As white people, we ought to do more. As society, as human, we ought to do more to make sure that things like that never happen again. To the family of George Floyd, my deepest condolences. I pray to God that every day you find peace in your heart. Please forgive. Because forgiveness is not really for the other person, it's really for you. If you want to be forgiven, you need to forgive. So I would say just please forgive. And I pray that God really bless you. I pray that God bless your heart and that His grace shine upon you. Again, to all the police officer in the United States, thank you for your service. And thank you for listening to the message of people who are enraged. Forgive them for not always expressing their frustration the right way, but understand where they're coming from. And please, 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 make sure that next time you do the right thing where things like that happen again. When you're being called for an intervention, please do the right thing. When you have the duty to treat, to protect, and serve, please do the right thing. That could have been your brother. That could have been your sister. That could have been your nephew. That could have been your friend. That could have been your brother-in-law. That could have been someone you care about. That could have been someone in your community. That could have been someone in your church. That could have been someone you know. He was definitely human like you. So please be reminded of that every single time you face situation like that. It's hard, I know. It's not easy. You put under, you under a lot of pressure. It's not always easy. I understand that. But I'm begging you, please do the right thing. For George Floyd and all the black community, do the right thing. For Harry Gardner and all the black community, do the right thing. For all the people who died in the end of police in very doubtful ways, please do the right thing. For your own community, for your country, please do the right thing. God bless you all. Thank you.